Right, welcome viewers, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the recent Department of Education's workforce census or survey with the results which were for 2022 basically, and I'm gonna run key 10 points that I think some of you viewers would be interested to know, or which I think would be sort of like would summarize the whole report per se. So as I'm gonna be talking to you, I'm gonna break down some of these things and try to make sense out of the statistics which have been given here. And in doing so as well, I'll be referring to my to the articles which I've read here, where I've managed to synthesize the whole report to make it, to break it down really into these 10 key points, which I'm going to be sharing with you today. So for those who haven't subscribed, this is my channel. My name is Tawia Matope. My other name is called Patrick, but obviously with this channel I run with the name Tawia Matope, which is my middle name. For those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that notification bell so that when I post another video again, you'll be notified and you'll be the first one to watch and share with your friends and with your colleagues. If you haven't subscribed, also subscribe and click that like button for this particular video. Right, so usually the Department of Education, as we all know, that's the department that most children's services across England and possibly in Wales do fall under. So we do report to the Department of Education in regards to the work that we do. Even the inspectors who come to inspect local authorities, they also do report to the Department of Education. Right, so the Department of Education workforce census of 2022, it actually found out lots of things which where I would say I would want to call it an improvement from the previous year, but definitely the numbers kind of went up in terms of the key things that they reported in that report. Yeah, so first and foremost, I would say the first key point to take away from this report is that there were 31,600 full-time children's social workers who were in post, meaning who were employed at that particular time when the survey was run in 2022 in English councils as of September 2022. So the results we are talking about here are as of September 2022. They are talking about English councils. This is mainly in England. So this whole survey or census is mainly around social workers practicing in England. As we know, there are some social workers practicing in Wales, practicing in Scotland, and as well as practicing in Northern Ireland. But this is particularly focusing more on social workers in England. Right, so 31,600 is the number of full-time social workers who were in post as of September 2022. Please bear in mind that this number of 31,600 is including all social workers across the board. You are talking of your ASYEs, your social workers, your senior social workers, senior prac, your advanced prac, your team managers, your operational leads, everybody who is registered as a social worker, no matter they are in which position, they are included in this number. Right, this is actually down 2.7% from the previous year since 2021. So I would say the statistics that they recorded in 2021, the number of full-time social workers went down with 2.7%. So the statistic that they recorded in 2021, and they're actually saying this is the first fall since the records began in 2017. So 2017 is the first year that they did this kind of survey. But they are saying this year's statistics is showing that we have less number of social workers in post as compared to since 2017 when they started to do these surveys or this kind of census. So from 2021 up to 2022, we have got 2.7. That's the percentage of social workers who have for some reason left the profession or who are no longer practicing. They may still be registered, but they are no longer practicing. They are no longer in post, so to speak. Right, so that's point number 2. So when they give these statistics, they use the term full-time equivalent, meaning social workers who are in post full-time equivalent. Remember, there are some social workers who don't work full-time in these positions, so bear that in mind as well. Right, going to point number 3, they are talking of, they are saying 820 of the 868 were lost posts, were in case holding, so were in case holding roles. Those that held cases but were not a senior practitioner or a manager, right? So 820 of the 868 lost posts, right? From, I spoke about, from 2021, we lost 2.7. That 2.7 translates to 868 positions that were lost of social workers who are no longer in position. So they are saying that on the point number 3, they are saying 820 of those 868 lost posts were case holding social workers, or were case holding roles that were lost, who are no longer practicing. In fact, I know the next question would be, why are social workers leaving the profession? I'm sure that would be a question which I can go and research and come up with in another video. But today they're talking about 820 of those 868 posts. So which means 48 were senior practitioners or senior managers. So they're saying 820 of the 868 lost posts were case holding social workers who have, for some reason, who are no longer in position, whom we have lost, in terms of practicing with children. And then they are also talking about, these way, they are also saying 14,910 case holding posts as of September 2022, which is down 5.2%, right? Since September 2021, and 7.6% since September 2020, right? So, right. So basically what they are trying to tell us there is 14,910 case holding positions as of September 2022, right? If you look at that number, obviously there is, it's actually going down. We are bleeding professionals within this sector, or within this profession, yeah. And then they're also going to talk to us about, there's been a growth in post numbers at all other levels, right? So it seems like or the statistics which I mentioned earlier on about, going down 5.2% and 7.6%, it might be because some people who were case holding, they are moving up the notch to be senior pracs who are not non-case holding, or to be assistant team managers who may be non-case holding, or to be team managers who may be non-case holding. So they're actually acknowledging that there's been a growth in post numbers at all other levels. Senior practitioner, which has gone 5.5%, and first line managers, which has gone 5.6%, and middle line managers, which has gone 15.8%. So I would say maybe the first line of managers, I would be saying maybe those would be assistant team managers, and then we've got still middle managers who may be your team managers, and senior managers, that's maybe the post of sales managers going above, which was up by 19%. So it's good for those people who have managed to move up the rank or move up the ladder. They are actually noticing that there's been a move with regards to senior manager ranks or senior manager roles of 19%. And for first line managers, that's 5.6%. And for middle managers, that's 15.8%. Right. This is one of the most interesting takeaways from this survey. They are saying the average caseload as of September 2022, and I'm sure you'll all be laughing at me mentioning this number, is 16.6%. And I'm sure you're like, which local authority is that where average caseload is 16.6%? I'm sure there's no local authority where the average caseload is around 16.6%. If they are there, there might be just a handful. I can assure you that. However, they are saying the average caseload was 16.6% as measured by the Department of Education, up from 16.3% the year before. What it basically means is the average caseload is going up, though it might be a 0.3 percentage up from 16.3 the previous year in September 2021, up 16.6 to September 2022. But the bottom line is the average caseload is going up. It's because we are losing social workers. Practically, in your local authority, you know very well what happens when you lose a staff member. Those cases might be distributed amongst the remaining staff members, or they have to look for somebody else to come and pick up the whole caseload. In most cases, the latter might not necessarily be always the case. It's sometimes it might be difficult to attract somebody else, even the local staff, to come and pick up that whole caseload. In most cases, they will be redistributed amongst the remaining, staff members. So breaking it down to your level, that's what happens there. However, in terms of that average caseload of 16.6, they are also taking into account non-case holding registered social workers, because at the end of the day, the way they come up with the average caseload, they don't only take into account case holding social workers only. That's why the number is 16.6%. Because if they were calculating it correctly, taking into account only case holding social workers, that number, I can assure you, it will be above 20, if not above 25, because those are the numbers that we know in some local authorities. Social workers will be having 20 to 25 children, sometimes even up to 30. Right. Right. So they're also saying 7,913 posts were vacant as of September 2022. That's a big number. That's, if you round it off, that's 8,000 posts which were vacant as of September 2022. We are talking of those posts being vacant in as much as we have agents or local social workers as well, but there are still 8,000 posts of social workers which are vacant out there. So if you're a client and you've been moaning about there are no social workers, or if you're also a social worker and there's too much work to be done, that explains the reason why things are where they are now. There is a vacancy rate of 21% in the whole country, right? So they are saying actually 7,913 posts were vacant as of September 2022, up 21%. Sorry, up 21%. I had said 21%. That's the vacancy rate. That's not the vacancy rate. So it's actually 7,913 posts were vacant as of September 2022, which is up 21%. It went up by 21%. The total number of posts that it went up with translates to 1,391 posts. That's the percentage which it translates on the year before. So they're actually saying as of September 2022, there were 1,391 more vacant posts as compared to the previous year, as compared to September of 2021, which I think is also the worst since 2017 when they started to collect these statistics, right? Right. They're also saying 1 in 5 of posts, which is 20%, were vacant, up from 16.7% in September 2021. Yeah? And then they go on to say 6,760 posts were held by agents, social workers. Right? I mentioned about 8,000 posts which were vacant. But with those 8,000 posts which are vacant, we have agents, workers who are holding positions, who are currently employed by local authorities in England, who are numbering up to 6,760. That's almost 7,000 agents, social workers. As of September 2020, that number went up by 13% from September 2022. So the number of agents, social workers, rose by 13% from September 2021 up until September 2022. We know very well sometimes local authorities do hire social workers from abroad, but when those social workers from abroad come and work in local authorities, when they finish their first 5 years, when they get their indefinite leave to remain, or some of them might wait until they get their, wait until 12 months later when they naturalize. Some of them naturally, after that process has been done, they do tend to be, they go agency. That might also explain the high number, the jump, which is 13% from September 2022 to September 2022. Right, and then the last but important point, they're actually saying 17.6% of posts were held by agents workers, up from 15.3% as of September 2021, right? So as of September 2022, 17.6% of the posts that we spoke about earlier on which is 31,600 full-time equivalent children social workers. Of those 31,600, 17.6% of them is held by agents, social workers, which is actually up 15.5% from the previous year, which is September 2021. So with those statistics, I'm sure some of you possibly were not aware of these statistics, but these are the statistics in terms of the recent survey done by Department of Education with regards to children's social workers. Like I said earlier on in the video, this is more especially to do with children's social workers. We are not talking about social workers working with adults in local authorities, but this is more to do with social workers working in the local authority for children's services. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when I post another video, you'll be the first one to know and you'll be able to share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.